Hi, my magpies. So I am driving through the passes today between California and Oregon through the Siskiyous. We just drove past Shasta and we stopped in Weed, California. I really wanted to go to the McDonald's here because that's what my family always did when I was growing up. But alas, Addie, it's under construction. I wanted to make a video today about some of the challenges of driving and traveling when you have a chronic illness or a disability. I might make a better video of this later, but I wanted to at least capture my thoughts here. Addie is gonna bark a lot because she's watching some guys wash their car across the street. Sorry about that. Today I had to jump start my car. And the reason I had to jump start my car is that I drove a little later than I wanted to yesterday and it was starting to get dark, so I had to turn on my lights. And I tried to make a mental note, like, don't forget to turn off your lights. My lights, when left on, make a sound. When you open the door, I think it is, when you take the keys out. I don't know if you can hear that buzzing. I think it makes a buzz. It might be a bing. The reason I can't tell you whether it's making a buzz or a ping is because I am partially deaf. I have almost no hearing in my right ear and partial hearing in my left ear. And when I am around other humans who get tired of me saying, what, I wear my Oticon hearing aids. But even with my Oticon hearing aids, there's certain pitches that are just outside of my range, very high and very low pitches. And so I can't hear any of the warning signals that my vehicle gives me because I'm deaf. So that's one of the things that I've had to do to be adaptive. Because the thing with disabilities is there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that culture and society has not developed to make space for your body. And that sucks. But there's nothing wrong with you. It's not that you can't travel without having adaptations because you're wrong. It's that, you know, the car is not manufactured for your kind of body. And so you have to make adaptations. So the adaptation I have for this is that I carry a Norco battery jumper. And this is why I might make this video over again so I can be ready and show you all these things. But it's about this big. It's got the 2 clamps on it like you would have with jumper cables. And you can just connect that to your battery and it will jump your battery. And I can usually get 3 jumps out of it before I have to recharge it. You can also use it as a battery to charge your cell phone in an emergency. It has a really good flashlight. You could charge your laptop off of it, I suppose, if you wanted to. But that's something that I have to carry with me because the odds of me forgetting to turn off my headlights are very, very high because I can't hear them buzzing. The other thing that I have done because of my deafness is I also can't hear it ping when I have my emergency brake on. I understand it makes a very loud, high-pitched ping. Even if I put my head right up against where the noise is coming out, I can't hear it. So when I first got my van, I did drive for like 15 miles with my emergency brake on until I could smell it. And I haven't figured out a workaround for that. I don't know how else to remind myself of that. So I just have become very habituated that I always put my brake on even if I'm parked somewhere really flat, even if it's just for a few minutes. And that way, hopefully I always remember to take my brake off. Finally, the last one that I was thinking about, in particular in regard to my deafness, I do want to make another one of these for people with fibromyalgia and some hacks for fibrofog. But in regards to my deafness, I can't hear the changes that the car is making if I have the windows open or the radio on. So like a whistling belt or just hearing that the engine is working harder. I can't hear that myself. So I have to look for external signs. So I have to really keep an eye on my gauge to see if my engine is starting to overheat. And I also set a timer on my phone so that every 2 hours it goes off to remind me to at least turn down my radio and take a listen to the car and make sure she's running okay. So I think a lot of people rule out solo travel when they have a disability or a chronic illness because it just feels like maybe you can't take care of yourself on the road. But you can learn these adaptive behaviors to help you cope. And I'll try to do another video about fibrofog and some of the things that I've developed to help me be safe and drive safely, even on days when my thinking isn't the clearest. I also just want to say that having these little small disasters is just a part of van life. I am a huge fan of Amber over at Story Chasing on YouTube, and she will be telling stories about van life where she'll be like, oh yeah, the flying shopping carts were like coming at my vans because the tornado winds were so high, so I had to move. I wasn't planning on moving to a new location, but I had to. And she's super chill about it. Shopping carts flying at her van. And she doesn't seem to be, like, she's a happy person, but she doesn't seem to be a particularly, like, sunshine and rainbows person. Like, she won't try to tell you that the shit doesn't stink. You know what I'm saying? And yet she doesn't let these things she seems sort of unflappable. And even with the limited amount of time that I've done traveling with Frankie so far, I realized that you become unflappable because these things are going to happen. You are living in a vehicle on the road. It's not a slow car, it's a fast house. Right now I have about 10 things broken in my van. As you can see, my curtain rod is falling down. 2 of my cupboards that are crooked now on the hinges because of all the rough roads we went on, and everything needs to be tightened up. Pretty sure there's a leak somewhere because my pump keeps going off every few minutes, so I'm gonna have to check my water lines. Things are gonna shake loose, clamps are gonna come undone, and these, you can't allow these to derail you or to ruin your trip. It is part of the trip. It is going to happen. And an ounce of prevention sometimes helps, but not always. So you just have to roll with it. So there's some funny stories about life on the road, setting some expectations, and hopefully empowering people who are dealing with disability and chronic illness to still try to push your boundaries a little bit more if there's a dream that you want to pursue. So until we meet again, my magpies, I hope that you will get curious, trust your gut, and whatever you do, choose the path with the most promise.